We are live. Good afternoon in the St. Louis area. It is afternoon anyway. For today's Wisdom Wednesday, I want to continue our conversation about mindfulness. Next Sunday, which is the 14th, we begin teaching classes at Circle of Light. The first class is Mastering Mindfulness. And I would ask you to ask yourself, when I say mindfulness, what do you picture? What is mindfulness to you? A lot of people will say things about thoughtfulness, being thoughtful or mindful of someone else's needs or desires. I mindfully opened the door for her. Things like that. Okay, that's nice. But to me, mindfulness is different than thoughtfulness. Man, that's funny. That's funny because I was thinking about leading a meditation after this little introduction, and Spirit was like, let's start talking. That's really funny. So speaking of that, when you develop a practice, like me working with my spirit guides now for 27-ish years, going on 30 years. I think it was 1997 that I first came to Circle of Light, pretty sure. And then quickly got involved in taking the classes and giving messages at service. So now I've developed a pattern now over well over 20 years, and so in a setting like this where I'm sitting here, with this intention, and I start even thinking about it, Spirit moves in, ready to start talking through me. Same thing happens. Like I was at a funeral or some other church service, not at Circle of Light, and we sang Amazing Grace, and I was like, hey, not now. Because it's become such a conditioned response, because Amazing Grace had been my song for giving messages at Circle of Light for many years. So mindfulness to me is more than just thoughtfulness. It is directing your attention with intention. How do I say it in here? Mindfulness is a state of active, open attention in the present. When you're mindful, you observe your thoughts and feelings from a distance without judging them good or bad. Instead of letting your life pass you by, mindfulness means living in the moment and awakening to experience without being overwhelmed by it. That's my kind of long meditation. I mean, definition. Boy, I got meditation on the brain, don't I? Funny. Funny how the unconscious mind brings that stuff out, even if you're not consciously thinking about it. The super short version, to make it really easy for people, is directing your attention and releasing distractions without judgment. That to me is the key point, is without judgment. You release the distractions, you just release it. No feelings attached to it, just release it without judgment. So I went over a couple weeks ago when I started this subject of mindfulness, I went over some of the things it can help you with in things you want to do, like deep meditation, peace of mind, stopping the hamster wheel of mental chatter and rumination, mental and emotional health, intuition, clairvoyance, channeling, all the stuff, all those psychic, everything under the psychic umbrella, of course. is improved with being able to direct your attention. Um, Healing yourself, of course, permanent healing, because behind every disease and disorder is a mental and emotional cause. So if you can change your thoughts and therefore your feelings about it, change your attitude about it, you can change your health. Improve memory and recall. When you walk into the kitchen, what I come in here for? Oh yeah, lemonade. You know, your attention stays in the present when you are mindful, when you practice mindfulness. And of course, your overall self-confidence and self-esteem, because being distracted erodes your self-esteem. And if you really get into it in your dreams, the more you can direct your attention in your waking life, the more you can direct your attention in your dreams, and you will remember your dreams more, and practice lucid dreaming, where you're aware in your dreams that you are dreaming. So mindfulness, we now know, changes our brain. When I was a kid, uh, we were taught that once the brain develops in your young adult, like around 21 years old, the brain doesn't change anymore. Now we know it's completely false. We know that it's called neuroplasticity. We now know is a thing. So just in my lifetime, we've discovered this. Okay, so you can literally heal brain damage by rerouting around the damage. You can change your habits. You know, when I was in college, I remember going to a counselor and talking about this and that. So when I went to college, it was the last half of the 1980s. PTSD was a new term. So this counselor, he said, well, you have all the symptoms of PTSD. You've never been in the military? I said, no, I've never been in combat, nothing. Then I had this light bulb moment of that's what life was like with my dad at home. It was like war. And I thought, no, an even better example, it's like a minefield where you never knew when you'd just be walking along and get your freaking legs blown off for no apparent reason. And so even back then, before I was really into the spiritual part of it, I was into the mental practice of directing my attention. And looking back, I realized that I probably had a serious dissociative disorder because I would just check out. I'd just be gone. And this subject just came up in a reading yesterday because the client had a similar experience. And I was telling her about, how I got into all this stuff. And that I wonder, because karma is interesting and complex beyond our understanding, I wonder if I would not have had that childhood experience if I'd still be doing this, what I'm doing now. Because maybe that, when I was young, was a dissociative disorder, has given me the ability to set myself aside. I can now check out at will. I can set my attention aside and let spirit move in, and spirit speaks through me. Channeling. So mindfulness is great for a lot of things. Changing your brain, take you off autopilot, get out of that hamster wheel of rumination, like I said. Changes your thoughts, changes your feelings, changes your relationships. And one of my favorite words over the past couple of years has become acceptance. The ability to accept what's right in front of you. Think of a relationship goes badly. And it ends, you end it probably, and you have this realization of, I can't believe I didn't see those red flags years ago or months ago. I can't believe I fell for that. I can't believe this. I can't believe that, and blah, 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 blah. Indeed, the reason you can't believe it is because you can't believe it. You see what I mean? So why didn't I see those red flags? Because I was not willing to accept what I was seeing right in front of me. And you might blame the other person. That person was a narcissist and a manipulator and this, that, and the other. That may be true. But what's also true is you didn't see it because you didn't want to see it. If you can accept that reality, that you played a part in that, you've come a long way. A lot farther than a lot of people. Because blame is easy. Blame is one of those basic defense mechanisms. Blame is easy. I have a quote here from Lao Tzu, who is credited with writing the Tao Te Ching. Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Change is the one constant in the universe. And you know this. If you're over, 12 years old, you know that, like quicksand, the harder we struggle against reality, the more misery we find ourselves immersed in. Mindfulness offers us a different path and enables us to see and accept reality as it is rather than wish it away. Paradoxically, this sort of acceptance actually enables us to make healthy choices and change our lives. That is why it's the basis of everything I do and teach. So, here's some basic steps of mindfulness practice. Give yourself some time. Another thing I've noticed through, mindfulness and all my development over the past couple decades, and a friend of mine named Dawn Landrum, who's a fantastic hypnotherapist, wonderful person. She's one of the people who clued me into, you believe the picture in your head. That's what you believe. So, and this happens so quickly, we are almost always not aware of it. Hardly ever are we aware of what we're really thinking or where it comes from. I no longer say, I'm going to take some time for a nap, because taking implies I'm taking it from like I'm not going to do this work, I'm going to nap instead. And that can conjure guilt. Another thing, so I'm going to give myself the gift of a nap. I'm going to give myself the gift of a shower. This awareness came to me real clearly when I was looking outside and thinking, I got to mow the frickin' grass, blah, 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 blah. And I said, no, William, you get to mow the grass. You have a beautiful place to live. You have your own little private park with 5 acres of woods. I get to go take care of this property that I love. Now I'm happy about it. Observe the present moment as it is. The purpose of mindfulness is not to achieve a state of eternal calm. The goal is simple. We're aiming to pay attention to the present moment without judgment. Can I eventually reach an incredible state of calm I thought was never possible? Yes, absolutely. Yes. If you would ask me 20 years ago how happy I would be, especially 30 years ago, oh my God, I never would have thought I would be this much at peace in my everyday life. But mindfulness, the basic mindfulness practice is to pay attention to the present moment without judgment. Period. Just release the judgment and keep directing your attention back to the present moment. Let your judgments roll by. When we notice judgments arise during our practice, we can make a mental note of them and let them pass. 4. Return to observing the present moment as it is. Our minds often get carried away in thought. That is why mindfulness is a practice of returning again and again to the present moment. 5. Be kind to your wandering mind. Don't judge yourself for whatever thoughts crop up. Just practice recognizing when your mind has wandered off and gently bring it back. So, let's say you're sitting down throughout your busy day. I say busy in air quotes because it's as busy as you make it, or it's as busy as you allow it to be. But throughout your day, maybe you don't have time to go into a deep rabbit hole. I don't want to, not rabbit hole in a negative way, but introspection, deep introspection, okay? So throughout my day, maybe I just make a practice of returning my attention back to the present moment. I'm going to just bring it back. Oh, bring it back. Release whatever that crap is I'm thinking about. I got to stop and get groceries on the way home and blah, 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 whatever. All right. Yes. Um, a, 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 uh, a thing I've learned to say is, if it's important, it'll come back to me. So I'm in the middle of, like, maybe I'm writing this class, editing these class notes, and I have that thought of, oh yeah, I got to make sure I uh, go get groceries. Okay, right now I'm writing this class. Maybe I'll set an alarm for myself at 5 o'clock tonight to go to the grocery store. Or I'll just say, because I trust my unconscious mind, I'll say, if it's important, it'll come back to me. And if it's not really important, it won't come back to me. Conversely, if it didn't come back to me, maybe it really wasn't that important. So, here's an easy little practice anyone can do. Mindfulness by focusing on the breath. I'm going to move these arms down so I can relax my shoulders. As I'm doing this, I'm realizing it's such a habit now. I do it without even thinking about it. My body just starts to relax from my head down to my neck, my shoulders, my chest, and back, all the way down my body. I don't even have to think, like, I used to have to, like, narrate this in my head, tell myself. Oh, yeah. See? So whether it's just a minute of focusing on your breath, I'm gonna take you through what has now been for many years the way I get into a meditation, and it's definitely, you'll notice that it is based in mindfulness. So I start with an intention. I give myself a subject to focus on, perhaps. And I say something like this: divine oneness of being that man calls God, ascended masters and teachers, our own personal guides and overlighting angels, thank you for coming in close to this time as I come here today, seeking information to shed light upon my path. And in that ending, I might say a subject I'm working on. Or not. Give your attention to your breath. Allow all the cares and concerns of the everyday world to float away like bubbles. If any of those things are really important, they can come back later. But for now, they all float away, and only I remain. My pure, authentic self. I continue to direct my attention back to my breath. I notice that as I direct my attention to my breath, my body naturally relaxes. recognizing the truth that I am light. I welcome the greater light to move in and enter me through the top of my head. As it moves through me, it relaxes my face, my scalp, my neck. My shoulders relax. The back of my shoulders, the front, my chest. Arms relax and fill with light. My hands relax in my lap with palms upward. The light fills me from the top of my head all the way down through my shoulders and arms and chest and back, all the way down to my hips, into my thighs and knees and shins and ankles and feet. So I'm completely filled with light from the top of my head to the soles of my feet. As it is the nature of light, that light moves but darkness does not move. Light is the active energy. The light displaces the dark. Darkness does not exist where light is. I don't have to pull the darkness out of myself or release the darkness. I simply allow light to fill me, as that is my divine nature. I recognize that through mindfulness I command my breath. And the breath is a connection between my body and my soul. The greater command I have of my breath, the greater command I have on the attachment and detachment with and from my body. I realize I can be calm and still while being completely present in my body. I realize that pain is like a check engine light on a car. It brings my attention to what needs to be attended to. I don't let pain disassociate me from my body. I am completely present in my body. I love my body. When I feel pain, I accept it for what it is. I'm not afraid of it. Pain is my body's way of showing me what needs attention. I love my body. I demonstrate this love for my body by caring for it. I give myself rest. I give my body nutrition. I create health and healthy conditions for my body. I choose to care for my body so that I am a good example to others. I allow myself to be awesome, to be glorious, to be powerful, as a demonstration and example for others. I empower myself so others may be empowered. I heal myself so others may be healed. I love myself so others may be loved. I am a beacon of light. I am a shining example. We are one. As I empower myself, I empower you, and as you are empowered, I am empowered. We are one. With this awareness, this realization and connection with your body, bring your attention once again fully inside your body. Place yourself in all of your glory. Bring your attention fully and completely to the present. From the top of your head, through your body, out to your fingertips, through your body, down to the soles of your feet. So you are completely present in the here and now. And when you are ready, please open your eyes. That took an interesting turn, didn't it? Okay, so mindfulness. Whew, man. That reminds me, one more little story. When Gosh, been on for half an hour. I was in college and with a coworker and friend who's female, and she said, "You have a hard time changing gears, don't you?" I'm a lot better at that now. Mindfulness helps that. Mindfulness helps me keep my awareness in the present where I want it to be. So hopefully some of you are able to come to our classes. They're only in person this time. If you're interested in virtual classes, let me know. If I have enough people to make it worth setting up the technology, I'll do it like this. We're all, it won't be like this. It'll be where I can see you too, like on a Zoom or Google Meet or something. So that's the beginning of what we're doing is mindfulness. And then it's the afterlife the following Sunday. These are Sundays at 7:30 after service. So everyone's welcome to come to service. Service starts at 6, goes just about an hour, sometimes not quite. And then we'll get going on class about 7:30. Not about, at 7:30. So this coming Sunday, the 14th, is mindfulness, then the afterlife, and then spirit communication, and it goes on from there. And as I've said before, these classes are all modular. That is, you can take them by themselves. If like, I only want to take the mindfulness class, or I only want to hear about the afterlife. Okay, fine. Or I only want to do the one on health and healing. Okay. But if you want to go further into like learning how to channel and communicate with spirit yourself, or be an ordained minister at Circle of Light, then there's going to be a structured series, a syllabus, right? So until next time, hopefully I'll see some of you Sunday. Otherwise, I'll see you online. Peace and love and good happiness stuff.